Okay, can I weigh in real quick? The reason I'm getting a lot of flack because I'm coming down on Brian. They're saying I'm jealous of Brian that he was your co-host. That's not the case. What did it for me is when he went after Brody the next day after he died, and it became a thing. It really hurt my feelings. It was so disrespectful and so mean that I said, I'm going to remember this one day. And I never liked Brian, and I always questioned him, always questioned every one of his stories. So now I'm coming out, and I'm coming out strong. That's why I gave out his number, because what he did to Brody. I was pissed off, and I'm still pissed off.
Well, the Brody thing was another example of Brian being absolutely delusional.
That's true.
Right, where he's like, this is what I believe is true, even though he partied with him, and then it was turned out to be Bronson Jones.
Yeah, but
I mean, again, Brian's an alcoholic. He's blind, so he can get. Like, it's not like the cops would rely on him as a credible witness, but still, for him to insist that it was Brody Stevens and that he hung out with on New Year's Eve, and even though Brody Stevens was at the Comedy Store. And again, nobody calls Brian on it. And then even if you do, Brian just laughs. And then also when Brian was drunk, he was easy to deal with. But then when he became sober, he took himself seriously or something. It was very annoying. Because when he was super drunk that day, he was shitting on Brody. So I just let it pass. I mean, I told him it was inappropriate.
I hung up.
It was funny for my show because my show is called Burning Bridges, but afterwards I was like, that wasn't appropriate. And he would just laugh it off, because he was the drunk sidekick. But then when he got sober, he's calling me out. Oh, you were talking about my daughters, and I'm like, but he introduced it. He made the joke. I just tagged it or whatever. But then he got all I don't like all this disrespect that I'm getting, and it's like, but Brian, you're a liar. You lied about his piece. Yeah, he did. You believe the truth, even though it's not the truth.
He dishes it out, but he can't take it. So he's the same guy who says, I don't mute people, I don't block people. Then a day later, he deletes his Twitter completely.
He's off. And I do have proof. Chrissie Mayr was on the show Friday, and she did, in fact, say that Brian does not have a large piece. So that's definitive proof. And she would know if anybody knew, right?
But we got to talk about another sad thing. I don't know what's going on. A guy that was known in the Dabbleverse as Ski Mask, Kevin Shackelford, a friend of mine, a guy that, I got to hang out with a few times. I believe it was just one time at maybe Chrissie's wedding, but we all stayed in the same hotel room. I think it was like four of us. We were in the middle of New York, and he's from Tyler, Texas, a guy from Texas guy. And it just makes me so sad. His dad on Twitter said that he just had a, cardiac arrhythmia, and that, his heart just misfired. And yeah, he found his son in a comfortable position, slumped over. Really sad. It's an unfortunate incident. And then, of course, you have people like, Chad Zumick was doing a big stream about it, celebrating it. These people are sick, even if you don't like this person. I mean, that's just, these people, there's no class whatsoever, people like that. And I'm not saying that like I'm, some stuck-up guy, like I'm above everybody. I'm not. I feel like I'm relatively, humble when it comes to somebody, my enemies, at least, the people that I don't want to see do well. Like, I feel like I gotta try not to even give them much attention, I guess. And then to see, like, when something bad happens to your enemy, to go and, like, revel in it like this, like, for them to die and to celebrate it, it's just low class. It's just bad. So, yeah. So, rest in peace, Ski Mask. Not trying to get all down. We got a lot of Tucker Carlson clips and Ted Cruz clips that we can laugh at and enjoy. Looks like we're going to be in World War III. So, you're going to miss World War III, bud. I guess that's a bright side of things. Didn't get to see much of a Trump second presidency, but I don't think he was too happy. Some of his tweets weren't too complimentary of the administration, which I don't necessarily disagree 100% about when it comes to what's going on with this war with Iran. I wasn't excited for the proxy war with Russia, I'm certainly not excited for a full-blown war with Iran, with the United States boots on the ground. So we'll get into that. We'll get into Ted, but I just want to properly say to those two people, it's very sad. Ann Burrell and Ski Mask, a.k.a. Kevin Shackelford. Rest in peace, guys. You guys will definitely, both of y'all will be missed. I mean, Chef Ann Burrell was a legend, and then Ski Mask was an up-and-coming legend. He was a young legend. He was funny. He didn't give a damn. And I would show some of his Twitter, but he had some hot takes that might not be YouTube friendly, but he was a great, funny guy. I mean, actually funny, made me laugh. Did a great podcast. Jim Stansel, man, just shout out to Jim, and my heart goes out to Jim and Kevin's dad. And I know they're really going through it. And, I feel terrible, so I can't imagine they probably feel a billion times worse than me, obviously. So, yeah, life is short. You learn that more and more every day, how short life is and how it's getting shorter as it goes on, which is really scary because I have been thinking about, my mortality lately, and it's a hardcore proposition. I was watching a clip from, it was a Barstool clip. It was from PFT. It was Big Cat. He was talking about how his son asked him, when we die, do we come back? And he kind of was struggling on how he wanted to answer that question to his son. And it's kind of like, even though, we have religion, we have God, you're like, you still don't know. We still don't know. Like, we are mortal beings, and it's hard to explain that to a young kid. It's just a tough realization. Like, you don't want to explain to, like, a young kid, like, no, you're dead. Like, you go somewhere else, but, the ride's over. It's just having that realization is, it's hard.
Say a prayer for me in my memory. Have a taste, another one is through. Damn this place in me, damn this destiny. I